Stellar, XLM, is the most undervalued crypto of May 2025, and there is a bullish reversal ahead. Stellar, XLM, is quietly making moves while most of the market remains distracted by the usual hype coins and overleveraged narratives. But here's what most people are missing. While others chase speculative pumps, Stellar is laying the groundwork for something far more disruptive. And yet, even with real-world use cases, institutional traction, and a growing DeFi layer through Soraban, the market still hasn't priced any of this in. As of May 2025, XLM is sitting at a valuation that frankly makes no sense when you actually zoom out. We're talking about a blockchain built for regulated finance with global partnerships, a working cross-border payments framework, and enterprise-grade integrations already live. This isn't a white paper project. This is infrastructure that's already handling real value. But here's the kicker. It's still being treated like a second-tier altcoin by the mainstream. That disconnect? That's where the opportunity is. Because in a space that loves to price hype over substance, Stellar is delivering the substance. And the price action is still asleep. This isn't just about an undervalued asset. This is about spotting asymmetric upside before the crowd catches on. While everyone's busy watching Bitcoin flirt with $100,000 and chasing meme coin volatility, the smart money is quietly watching Stellar set up for what could be one of the most explosive reversals of this cycle. So if you're holding XLM or considering it, this might be the moment you look back on as the last time it was this cheap before the breakout. Let's get into why the market's asleep on XLM, and what the charts, partnerships, and capital flows are all starting to tell us. Stellar's current market position. Right now, as of May 2025, Stellar XLM is hovering around $0.296. And let's be real, that price is starting to look more and more like a disconnect from reality than a fair market value. Because when you look at what Stellar's actually building, that sub-30-cent valuation feels almost comical. This isn't just some low-cap experiment with no product-market fit. Stellar has been laser-focused from day one on solving one of the biggest friction points in global finance: moving money across borders efficiently, cheaply, and compliantly. And it's not just theory. The rails are live. The integrations are active. We're talking real partnerships with MoneyGram, Circle, Tempo, and even the UNHCR using Stellar to deliver humanitarian aid via USDC on-chain right now. And yet, the price? It's behaving like none of that matters. But here's where it gets interesting. Analysts are starting to catch on. More institutional desks and macro-level investors are eyeing Stellar for exactly what it is: a regulatory-aligned, utility-first chain built with TradFi integration in mind. In a world racing to tokenize everything from stablecoins to sovereign currencies, Stellar is already ahead of the curve. It's not waiting for permission. It's already executing. And let's not ignore what's happening under the hood. Transaction volume is up. Developer activity is climbing. Smart contracts via Soraban are finally enabling DeFi, NFTs, and more complex on-chain mechanics that were missing from Stellar's toolbox before. In other words, the fundamentals are strengthening while the price stays flat. So what does that tell us? Simple: accumulation. The market hasn't woken up yet, but the smart money is quietly loading up. We've seen this pattern before: a long period of sideways boredom, followed by an aggressive breakout when the fundamentals become impossible to ignore. And when that flip happens, $0.296 starts to look like a gift. This isn't hype. It's value hiding in plain sight. Stellar is priced like it's a ghost chain, but the reality is, it's one of the few actually connecting crypto to the real world. Price predictions and market sentiment. Here's where things start to get really interesting, because while Stellar's current price is still chilling in the basement around $0.296, the broader market sentiment is anything but bearish. In fact, the range of price predictions for XLM in 2025 reveals one key truth. Even the conservative models are acknowledging that a major upward revaluation is on the table. Let's break it down. 30 rates, which tends to err on the side of caution, is forecasting a 2025 price range between 11 cents and 25 cents. Now, at first glance, that might look bearish, but consider this. Their model is based on conservative momentum trends, assuming no major catalysts. And yet, even they admit that XLM is gearing up for steady growth beginning as early as April. That means even under the most muted conditions, Stellar isn't expected to crash. it's expected to grind up. Now let's zoom in on Coinpedia, which takes a more adoption-focused view. They're calling for a range between 40 cents and 69 cents. And their reasoning? Market enthusiasm and growing ecosystem fundamentals. That's not speculation, that's a recognition that once Sorbonne goes mainstream, and Stellar's enterprise rails hit full throttle with stablecoin flows and on-chain FX, demand for XLM as fuel has to rise. Then there's digital coin price, landing somewhere in the middle with projections between 24 cents and 59 cents, and an average hovering around 52 cents. That average is nearly double where we are right now. Let that sink in. This isn't some moonboy YouTuber tossing out wild $10 calls. These are data-driven forecasts saying the floor may already be in, and the upside potential is quietly expanding. But here's the real takeaway. All of these price targets, low, medium, and high, point to one consistent theme. Stellar is undervalued. The analysts know it. The data confirms it. And even the most conservative projections don't see XLM going lower from here. They see it climbing. Slowly at first, then suddenly as catalysts stack. This is classic pre-breakout behavior. And if we've learned anything from past cycles, it's that the market rarely rewards the latecomers. When price finally catches up to fundamentals, and it will, these predictions won't look bold. They'll look obvious in hindsight. The only question is, will you be positioned before the breakout, or chasing green candles after it's too late? Now let's talk technicals, because while fundamentals tell you why something should go up, the charts often reveal when that move might happen. And right now, Stellar setup is flashing one of the most bullish formations in the game. The classic cup and handle pattern. This isn't just some random shape traders fantasize about. This pattern has decades of historical credibility. When it shows up, especially on higher time frames, it usually signals one thing. A major trend reversal is brewing. And guess what? That exact formation is now taking shape on XLM's multi-month chart. Let's break it down. The cup part of the pattern reflects a slow and steady bottoming process. A rounded base formed over months, signaling that sellers are exhausted and accumulation is quietly underway. That's exactly what we've been seeing on XLM since late 2023. Deep dips followed by higher lows, consolidating in a tight range while volume dries up. The classic accumulation footprint. Now we're entering the handle phase. A small downward or sideways drift that shakes out weak hands before the breakout. And if this pattern plays out like it historically does, what comes next is the explosive move. A breakout above the neckline resistance that could trigger a sharp rally as sideline capital rushes in. But there's one key level to watch. $0.375. That's a critical Fibonacci zone and a psychological resistance that, once flipped into support, could become the launchpad for the next leg up. Holding above this level would validate the bullish thesis and put XLM in a prime position to challenge higher targets. First 50 cents, then potentially beyond if momentum kicks in. And it's not just independent analysts saying this. Investing Haven, known for their macro-technical analysis, has pointed out this exact setup, highlighting that XLM structure is aligning perfectly with a broader crypto market rotation into utility-driven plays. That's a huge signal, because when the broader market starts chasing narratives around functionality and compliance, Stellar checks every box. Bottom line? This isn't hopium. This is a textbook bullish setup with clean technicals, strong fundamentals underneath, and a massive psychological undervaluation overhead. When price action, fundamentals, and technical indicators all start pointing in the same direction, that's when asymmetric upside gets real. The chart is coiling. The pattern is forming. And the breakout could flip the entire sentiment around XLM in a matter of weeks, not months. The smart money is watching. Are you? Here's the part that the market still hasn't fully priced in. Stellar isn't just another blockchain promising future adoption. It's already in the trenches, working with some of the biggest players in global finance to solve real problems. This isn't theory. This is execution. Let's start with the obvious headliner, IBM. That partnership put Stellar on the institutional map years ago, when IBM launched its WorldWire initiative, a real-time global payment system using Stellar's blockchain to facilitate cross-border transactions. And while WorldWire isn't making headlines every week anymore, the infrastructure it helped test and build set the foundation for everything Stellar is doing now with stablecoins, CBDCs, and real-time FX settlements. This wasn't just a press release partnership. It was Stellar's first enterprise use case at scale. But it goes way deeper than just IBM. In Africa, Stellar is pushing into one of the most important and underserved financial markets on Earth. Through partnerships with companies like Flutterwave and ClickPesa, Stellar is enabling low-cost remittances and merchant payments in regions where traditional banking is either broken or outright missing. We're talking about real-world impact, faster payments, lower fees, and financial tools delivered to people who've been ignored by legacy finance for decades. And in Asia, the story is just as strong. Stellar is collaborating with fintech platforms and regional banks to streamline everything from remittances to currency exchanges, particularly in Southeast Asia, where cross-border commerce is exploding and demand for instant, cheap payments is surging. It's no accident that many of Stellar's integrations are happening in emerging markets. That's where the need is most urgent, and it's also where crypto can leapfrog broken systems entirely. Let's not forget the game-changer MoneyGram. This partnership brought USDC on Stellar directly into retail access through MoneyGram's massive physical network. That means anyone with cash can walk into a MoneyGram location, convert it to USDC on the Stellar network, and send it across the world in seconds, with no bank required. This is how blockchain goes mainstream. Quietly, efficiently, and by integrating into systems people already trust. And the kicker? Stellar didn't build all this by chasing hype. It stayed laser-focused on real utility, building for compliance, interoperability, and long-term value. That's why governments, nonprofits, and regulated financial institutions are choosing Stellar over trendier chains with higher TPS but no real-world adoption. So when you hear people say, Stellar isn't doing much, realize what they're missing. It's not about flashy DeFi yields or NFT drops. Stellar is quietly rebuilding the financial plumbing of the future. And the institutions? They're already using it. The price just hasn't caught up yet. But once it does, and once the market realizes just how deeply integrated Stellar already is, that undervalued label won't last long. Right now, Stellar XLM is sitting at a major inflection point. The market still sees it as just another altcoin, while under the surface, it's quietly evolving into one of the most institutionally integrated, utility-driven blockchains in the entire space. We've got a textbook bullish chart pattern forming, the cup and handle. We've got strong fundamentals, including real-world partnerships with IBM, MoneyGram, and a footprint across Africa and Asia that's actually being used right now. We've got multiple price predictions from credible sources pointing to serious upside potential. Even the conservative forecasts show XLM rising. And most importantly, we've got a disconnect between price and progress that screams one thing: undervaluation. This isn't hopium. This is opportunity hiding in plain sight. While everyone else chases the next meme coin pump or tries to time Bitcoin's every tick, Stellar is quietly building, expanding, and locking in deals that could define the next decade of digital finance. The bullish reversal isn't just possible. It's setting up right now. And when the breakout happens, it's going to catch a lot of retail by surprise. But it won't surprise those of us who are paying attention. So if you've been sleeping on XLM, consider this your wake-up call. May 2025 might just be the last time we see these levels before the real move begins. If you're serious about spotting undervalued gems before they explode, and you want more deep-dive analysis like this, subscribe to Be Crypto Smart right now. This is where we separate the noise from the signal, break down what actually matters, and stay 3 steps ahead of the market. Don't wait for the headlines. Be early. Be smart. Be crypto smart.